All right, let's talk about art, but not just art for art's sake. Today, we're diving into how art can tell the stories that words just can't quite get to. We're going to see how it's a tool, not just for showing what we already know, but for discovering the stories hidden deep inside ourselves. You know that feeling, right? I think we've all been there. You have this huge story inside you, maybe a really complex experience or a feeling so big that language just falls flat. You try to explain it, but the words feel so small. So what do you do? And that's really the big idea for today. When our words fail us, art can step right in. It gives us a completely different language, a language of symbols, colors, movements, you name it, to tell the stories that we just can't seem to put into sentences.
So, first up, let's look at art as a tool for discovery. And this isn't about telling a story you've practiced 100 times. No, this is about using the creative process itself to dig up the narratives that are buried, the feelings we haven't even put a name to yet.
This is where the magic really happens. The act of creating something, whether it's a painting, a song, whatever, it literally brings what's inside of you out into the open. It makes those fuzzy feelings and memories tangible, something you can actually see and interact with. It gets them out of your head and into the world.
Now, this idea is actually a formal practice in things like art therapy, but it's really fascinating? It has applications in places you wouldn't expect, like a courtroom. Socio-trial expert Professor Brandon Blankenship points out that in really tough cases, especially involving trauma, asking a witness to draw what happened can unlock memories and communicate an experience to a jury in a way that words just can't. It's incredibly powerful.
And this whole discovery process, well, you can kind of break it down into 3 steps. First, you externalize it. You get it out by creating something. Then, and this is the cool part, as you're making it, you might be surprised by what shows up. You start to uncover these hidden stories and feelings. And finally, by looking at what you made, you get a whole new perspective. It lets you reinterpret and maybe even reshape your own story. So how does this actually work? How do we unlock that meaning? Well, it's all about nonverbal expression and really potent artistic metaphors. Think about it. Imagine a witness trying to describe how they felt. They could say, "I felt conflicted," and a jury might nod. Or they could draw a stormy, chaotic sea. Now that communicates a depth of emotion that words could never touch. It hits you differently.
Okay, so we've seen how art helps us find our story. Now let's switch gears a bit and look at how it helps us craft it. Once you've found that hidden narrative, how do you intentionally shape it? How do you make it clear and powerful for other people?
There are really 2 big paths you can take here. On one side, you've got the visual arts. This is where an artist very carefully arranges all the pieces, the composition, the symbols, to guide how you feel and what you think. And then on the other side, you've got the performative arts, like theater or dance. This is where the story is actually created live, through movement and improvisation, often feeding off the energy of the audience.
So in the visual storyteller's toolkit, you've got the classics like composition and symbolism. But there are also some amazing modern methods. Take photo voice, for instance. It's this incredible technique where you give cameras to people in a community and let them document their own lives. You're basically handing over the microphone or, the camera, so they can shape their own story. It's storytelling for the people, by the people. So cool. And for the performative storyteller, the tools are just as powerful. Embodiment means using your own body as the main storytelling tool. Improvisation is all about discovering the story right there in the moment, which makes every single performance totally unique. And of course, you've got props and scenery to build the world of the story and give the audience those crucial little emotional nudges. Okay, let's pull it all together now. We've talked about discovering a story and crafting a story. Let's see how they combine into one single, really powerful idea.
The best, most compelling storytelling often mixes things up. Think about a graphic novel. It's blending words with incredible visual art. Or go back to that courtroom. Professor Blankenship might tell a lawyer, don't just use words, use diagrams, use timelines. You combine the visual with the verbal to build a story for the jury that's so much richer and way more persuasive.
And all of this brings us to this one central idea, which is captured in this beautiful metaphor. Art serves as both a mirror and a map in the discovery and crafting of story. I love that. A mirror and a map. So what does that actually mean? Well, it's simple. Art is a mirror that lets us look inside and understand ourselves. That's the discovery part. And then it's a map that shows us how to navigate the tricky business of sharing that inner world with everyone else. And that's the crafting part. It's a tool for looking in and a tool for reaching out.
So as we wrap this up, the big takeaway isn't if you have a story. You do. We all do. It's in there, waiting. So the only real question left is, what tool are you going to pick up to tell it? A paintbrush? A camera? Your own body? What's it going to be?